Welcome to our horror movie night tasting kit. Hey guys, it's that time of year again. That's right, it's the Halloween season. We got a scary good tasting kit for you. This is our horror movie nights tasting kit. If you've got this, I guarantee you, you are a horror movie buff. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pair some horror movies to go with these wines you see in front of you. We got our Hatteras Red here, our Queen Anne's Revenge, Blackberry, Pumpkin. You got the Muscadine Cider there, and then you can take a couple of these, mix them together with this mulling spice and make a mulled spice wine. We've got our Wicked Mini Chili Cheese, the Wicked Minis, that's right. So that fits with the Halloween. And then of course, we got our Bertie County Blister Fried Peanuts. What are you thinking when you think of blister fried? That's right, Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street, right there. That's what we're gonna pair with these. So when you're eating these, check out all those Nightmare on Elm Street movies, I'm telling you right now. But let's go ahead and get into the wines. All right, we're gonna start off with one of our old classics here at Duplin Winery, our Hatteras Red. This is our best-selling wine. It's one of the older wines that we have here, just a classic. And when I think of classics, as far as horror movies go, I think of Frankenstein. All right, that's one of my favorite old classic horror movies. Kind of reminds me when I was a kid. The Hatteras Red also reminds me when I was a kid, because this tastes almost exactly like a muscadine right off the vine. And I'd go out on Saturday afternoons, we'd play in the woods outside, we'd find these muscadines hanging from the trees. We'd pick them, eat them. That's what this reminds me of. And what we did on Saturday mornings, we would watch cartoons, and then we would start watching those old Universal horror movies on the UHF channel there in town. That's when we didn't have 150 channels. We had like 3 or 4. And the UHF channels, they always showed those old Universal horror movies like Frankenstein. So that's what I'm gonna pair this one with. And I got another movie too. Now, if you're looking for a more modern classic movie, all hail to the king, baby. You remember Evil Dead, that trilogy? That is a great one to watch with this classic Hatteras Red wine. One of my favorite trilogies ever, especially as far as horror movies go. You can watch all 4 of these movies. That Evil Dead trilogy, check out the Frankenstein. There's more than one Frankenstein movie too. There's all kinds of those to watch. But they go well with this classic Hatteras Red because they're all classics, man. I'm telling you, this one right here, you taste it, for me, the smell of it just takes me back to being a kid on those Saturday afternoons when I'd be watching those old Universal horror movies. The taste is even more, takes me back. Then we go outside afterwards, play in the woods, like I said, pick those grapes. It takes me back, man. So do those movies. So there's a couple movies you can pair with this one. Let's go to our next one. What came over me? All right, guys. Our next wine is our Queen Anne's Revenge. It is actually one of my favorite wines. It's very complex. It's got a different taste than most of our wines. And, you know, if you don't know what Queen Anne's Revenge is, it was Blackbeard's ship. So what better movie to pair with this wine than The Fog? Now, if you've never seen The Fog, the old 1970s version, it's about a ship that comes into a harbor. I believe it was Maine, if I'm not mistaken, and there's pirate ghosts all over it. So it's a really scary atmospheric movie. It's not a lot of gross killing and stuff like that, but it's a real atmosphere, just spooky. And that, if you look at the label of this wine, the label of our Queen Anne's Revenge is that way. So it's a great movie to pair with that. There's a couple more you can do. You can do Ghost Ship. You can do the remake of The Fog. Those are good too, but the original though, you just can't beat it. Now, speaking of original, I've already said it, this is a very original wine. You've got that muscadine taste in there, but you're gonna get a little bit of a pepper taste on the end of this. So this pairs really well if you're looking for a food to pair it with. Steaks, okay? If you love steak, this is a great wine to pair with that. And being Halloween, you're gonna want that extra rare, right? That extra rare steak to go with this. Cook it however you want to. This is a great wine. Even if you're just sipping it, it's good, but it's really good with any kind of beef. So let's give this a taste, guys. All right, I want you to smell this one first, though. You definitely get that muscadine smell, but you get a little bit of a peppery smell in there. So cheers, guys. Let's taste this. Mm-hmm. in your mouth there for a minute. You get that muscadine taste in the beginning. Then you get that peppery taste. I'm telling you, you got a ribeye at home, throw that on the grill, pour you a glass of this, put the fog on. It's gonna be a Halloween night to remember. All right, guys, our next wine is Blackberry. Now, what movie to better go with Blackberry than It's Showtime? Yeah, that's right. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. We're gonna drink Blackberry, Blackberry, Blackberry. And you might be saying to me, Frank, what does Beetlejuice have to do with Blackberry? They both start with B's, duh. No, seriously, when I think of Blackberry, I kind of think of countries. Okay, like countryside, rolling hills. If you ever watched the movie Beetlejuice, the cinematography in there, they got a lot of countrysides, a lot of rolling hills. It's a real dark red wine. Beetlejuice is a funny but dark kind of movie, so kind of coincides there. Now, the Blackberry, if you've never had it, it's got a very sweet taste on the front end. On the back end of it, it's kind of earthy tasting. You get some of that seed taste in there. I love it. And it's a great fall wine. Beetlejuice is a great fall movie. So that's the correlation between the two. But I've talked enough. Let's try this. All right. Cheers, guys. Oh, yeah. I got that sweet taste, a little bit of that tart. There comes in that earthy taste. This pairs great as far as eating something. You like pumpkin pie, pecan pie, or pecan pie, however you say it. This goes very well with those. All right, guys, now we're in the graveyard. We got our bottle of pumpkin wine. What could possibly go wrong, right? No, seriously. So, pumpkin wine. First thing I thought of was the movie Halloween. How does that movie start? It starts with the jack-o'-lantern. That's a 1978 original John Carpenter version we're talking about now. There's a pumpkin that's carved into a jack-o'-lantern. The words Halloween come up. First thing I thought of for this wine was the Halloween movie. Because, I mean, plus we're in Halloween, okay? This is a great wine. Now, if you like pumpkin flavored stuff, it doesn't taste like pumpkin. I'm just gonna tell you that right off the bat. It's got more of like a cinnamon, nutmeg, clove taste, more of the pumpkin pie spices. But it pairs really well with that Halloween movie just for the time of year. I mean, if nothing else, there's a nice little pumpkin on it. There's even a squirrel on here. I mean, ours is a little bit happier than the Halloween movie, okay? But it's still a good pairing. If you like either pumpkin pie or pecan pie, this pairs really well with those as far as food. So get your pumpkin pie, your bottle of pumpkin wine, turn on Halloween, and just chow down and drink up. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. Yeah. I get mostly in that, of course you get the muscadine taste, but the muscadine taste is kind of mellow there. You get more of that nutmeg and that clove and cinnamon taste in that more than anything else. Again, use this October, November. This is really good at Thanksgiving also. It's a good Thanksgiving wine. So if you guys have some of this left over from your Halloween parties, use it at Thanksgiving. All right, now we've talked about a lot of wines and a lot of kind of adult movies. Well, we've got a muscadine cider in here. So if you got kids and kids love Halloween, you can have them gather around, maybe watch some movies with the kids. Some Halloween movies are more kid-friendly because this is our kid-friendly muscadine cider. There's no alcohol in this, so your kids can have a sip of this with you while you're drinking some of your wine. It's very, very good. It tastes just like muscadines with a little bit of spice in there. Now, when I think of kids movies that you can watch at Halloween, okay, I love Disney, all right? Disney World is one of my favorite places to go, and I love the Haunted Mansion, okay, the ride. So I got my Haunted Mansion t-shirt on here, but have you ever seen the old Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion? That is a fun movie for you and your kids to watch. Gather around, take this, and I got one more really good, probably my favorite kind of kids family Halloween movie. Who are you gonna call? Yeah, right, Ghostbusters. I'll tell you what, I've probably seen this movie more than any movie I've ever watched in my life, seriously. I've probably seen this movie 50 times at least. And it is a great family movie. You can sit around with your kids and watch it, give them this muscadine cider. One of Bill Murray's best performances in my opinion. But the muscadine cider, great for kids. It's got that muscadine taste to it. Like I said, it's got a little bit of that spice in there too. They're gonna love it. You can drink your wine while they're having a sip of this while you watch either that Ghostbusters or Haunted Mansion, either one of those. So here you go, kids. Enjoy your muscadine cider. Oh yeah, that goes down so smooth. Now there is something else you can do with this muscadine cider to make it more adult oriented. Let's say make it an adult drink. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take the muscadine cider, your Hatteras Red, pour them in a crock pot together, and then take our Duplin mulling spices, mix that in there, and we're gonna make a mulled spiced wine. So we've done that. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take a gallon of apple juice, pour that in with that, and then there's two ways you can do this. You can either make this with 2 cups of Pink Country Time lemonade or 1 cup. Now the difference is your 1 cup, it's gonna make it not quite so tart. If you like something a little bit tartar, use 2 cups. That is all on this package here. So you've got that. It's gonna say 2 cups on here, but I suggest starting out with 1 cup. If you want a little bit more tart, then try that. Great movie to pair with this when I think of mulling spices, because you're gonna heat that up in that crock pot. It's gonna get hot, you're gonna get some steam off of there. What's it remind you of? Like a witch's brew, right? So what better movie to watch than that late 1990s movie Blair Witch that had everybody thinking that it was real? I mean, if you lived during that point in time, I worked at Blockbuster Video at the time, and we had people coming in who were like, man, I found out the Blair Witch wasn't a real movie. I'm like, no kidding, man, no kidding, but you know, whatever. That, though, movie goes really well with that mulled spice wine. You know, just that, you think of witch, Blair Witch. And it's a scary movie. It's a slow burn, but it is a scary movie. All right, guys, thanks for joining us for our horror movie night tasting kit. Hopefully you've had a great time. You're watching some of those old school horror movies that we talked about and drinking some of that classic Duplin wine. Now, just remember, Christmas is right around the corner. So make sure you join us for Christmas too. I'm gonna have one more glass. Cheers, guys. It's Frank, and I'm out.